Here.
Mrs. Shaw.
Here.
Mrs. Gray.
Here. Yeah.
Here. Right here. I'm here. Side here.
I'd just like to draw your attention to the statement of public notice. If you have zero out there. I just wanted to point out that we have two portions of the meeting that are open for public comment. One is on agenda items and one is on non-agenda items. If you choose to come up, please, I guess there's a word somewhere. Okay, so give us your name and address if you come for public comment. And I just wanted to point out that this meeting is being recorded. Read the statement of public notice that I read short. And we don't have a student representative tonight. We have one item under superintendent's report. Would someone like to make a motion for item number 1? Anyone have questions about item 1? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Smart.
Yes.
Mrs. Gray. Mrs. Cassell.
Yes.
Mr. Pratt.
Yes.
Mrs. Bridget.
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw.
Yes.
Mrs. Weaver.
Yes.
Mrs. Hughes.
Yes.
Yes. So we're very excited to be here at Liberty Corner tonight. One of the things that we talked about this year was getting around to different schools to try to showcase some things going on in each of the schools this year. So we've kind of gone on the road, if you will, to different schools, bringing our setup here. So we're doing the best we can with our technical work, and I think we actually have the microphones working pretty well tonight. But I just wanted to thank Mr. Oliver and our principal, Dr. Pecoraro, for hosting us tonight. And of course, I can see that we have lots of parents and students to thank also. And I know we have some extra staff members that came out this evening to help run our proceedings tonight. So I wanted to just start by thanking everybody and thanking Dr. Pecoraro for hosting tonight. And of course, many of you know, we're very lucky to have gotten here to hear from Dr. Pecoraro and given her the chance to showcase some of what's going on at Liberty Corner since she school year. So we're very happy for Dr. Pecoraro and very glad that we got the chance to be here tonight to listen to her and see what the kids have in store for us. So I would just ask the board members to move over to the front row there, and with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Pecoraro and Mr. Oliver.
Thank you and good evening, and yes, welcome to our house. We are very honored to have Board of Education members with us this evening to share a little slice of LCS, give you a little taste of what Liberty Corner is all about. We'd like to share a little bit of our history, as well as some of our initiatives and programs, and then we're actually ultimately going to turn all of this over to the children because there really are no better Liberty Corner citizens that can do as good a job as they can to share. In other words, they're very capable of telling their own story. So a little history 101. LCS is the oldest school in Vernon's Township, having been built in 1905. And contrary to popular belief, I was not the principal back in 1905. Her doors were opened in February of that year to welcome and educate local farm children. Believe it or not, the village of Liberty Corner way back then was primarily an agrarian community at that time. Originally, grades 1 through 8 were housed here, and grades were combined. So 7th and 8th graders were housed in the same classroom, and while 8th graders were being instructed in the 8th grade curriculum, 7th graders had to sit there, very, very quiet, behave themselves, and wait for the teacher to instruct them in their curriculum. In 1904, plans to build a new school were initiated by purchasing the more than 2 acres that Liberty Corner School would be erected upon and built upon, to the tune of $400. The building was to be a 32-foot by 68-foot, two-story high building and constructed of quarry stone, which you can see on the facade of our building. It's still there. We're historically recognized. And there were 2 rooms on the ground floor that were used as classrooms. The second floor remained unfinished until it was needed later on. But by 1909, there were plans already underway to put on another addition to the 1905 structure. The original building, including the building and the furnishings, came in at a whopping $7,600. A budget line of $685.50 was also created for, people in the back there, teacher salaries. Rachel Folsom was hired for $500 a year, $50 per month, but Willett Neer earned $1,000 a year and $100 a month, double that salary of Rachel's. During the 2004-2005 school year, we prepared for our centennial celebration. Senior citizen alumni were invited to visit their alma mater and share their LCS memories during in-depth student-led interviews. The children found recollections very interesting, but very strange. Boys and girls entered the building through different doorways. Girls and boys were not permitted to play with each other during recess. Girls were restricted as to what activities they could engage in during recess, and no girls in 7th or 8th grade could wear lipstick. According to one of our senior guests, Doris Schur, who attended LCS in the 1940s, there were only 17 students in each of the classrooms, and that Mary Kenny, who was an LCS student, an LCS teacher, and ultimately principal at LCS, was a very, very strict disciplinarian, and that's Mrs. Kenny on the left. Doris was terrified of her and was so glad that when she went into 3rd grade, Mary Kenny moved down to 2nd grade from 3rd grade. According to Doris, Mrs. Howe, who was a teacher, was married to the principal, Mr. William Howe. Doris said that Mrs. Howe had a very large goiter on her neck, which would get all puffed up and red when she got angry. Mrs. Schur also shared that teacher Lila Barber also insisted that the children say library and Fred brewery. The principal, Mr. Howe, would come into the classroom and walk around the classroom with his hands clasped behind his back, looking out the window. He would also insist that the children memorize the preamble of the Constitution, the Gettysburg Address, and the Concord Hymn. Former student Herb Hilmer said that LCS boys always had dirty knuckles, elbows, and knees from playing marbles on the dirty ground. Everyone carried a pocket knife to school, but nobody worried. He said there would be an occasional fight on the playground, but no one ever sued anybody. During the 2004-05 school year, a mini-unit was conducted for children to build a parade float, which was a replica of an old-fashioned classroom complete with a real-life school arm. I've got a picture of that up there. An old-fashioned small-town parade down Church Street was a culminating activity with antique cars and fire trucks, the Ridge High School marching band, and all 650 students and staff marching down the parade route, which was lined with local merchants, neighbors, board members, and community members. A beautiful gala for parents, staff, and administration was held at the Farley Dickinson Mansion in Madison. In conjunction with the Liberty Corner Postmistress, a philatelic cancellation was created to mark this significant milestone of Liberty Corner School. Also, our centennial garden was erected during that year with the installation of our beautiful statue, which is surrounded by engraved bricks to commemorate this very significant event in our history. The year of celebration was memorable and very inspirational. So that's a little 101 history on the history of Liberty Corner School. At this point, I am going to introduce Dr. Oliver to share a little bit with you about our character education program. Our program and the pillars that we abide by really define us as individuals and as well as a school community. So Dr. Oliver, I invite you up to introduce our KFC students.
As Dr. Picard just said, at Liberty Corner School, we really do pride ourselves on our character ed program. We are committed to developing and supporting positive character traits within our students. We're excited to share that in February, we're just notified by the New Jersey Alliance of Social, Emotional, and Character Development that we earned the title of New Jersey School of Character, and that our application has been forwarded to the Character Ed Partnership as an application for a National School Character Award. Dr. Picard and I also have been invited to do a presentation at Rider University following the ceremony for the 2015 New Jersey Schools of Character on May 29th. This will be our third presentation together focused on character education. At this point, we've earned 3 New Jersey Schools of Character that's here on our wall, and we've also earned 7 promising practices, which have been nationally recognized by our Character Ed Partnership. Character development is really our cornerstone here at the school, and it really is what we pride ourselves on. Our Character Ed program is evaluated and updated by our Character Ed Committee, which has been comprised of teachers, support staff, administration, guidance counselor. And when it was initially set up, our framework of our Character Ed curriculum is based on universally accepted core ethical values such as fairness, trustworthiness, citizenship, respect, responsibility, compassion, honesty, and care. The committee meets monthly to ensure that all activities, projects, and programs are aligned with our goals. New last year, we held, thanks to Mr. Sy who approved this, we held a Character Ed Staff College Year at Liberty Corner School. So we spent 6 hours in June planning new activities and approaches for the 2014-15 school year. Each teacher received a binder outlining our Character Ed curriculum for this school year. Each week we dedicate time on Fridays between 2:40 and 3:15 for the whole school to focus just on character education. Each month we focus on one pillar of character, such as respect or fairness. We hold a kickoff ceremony, an all-school assembly where a grade level introduces a pillar of character for that month. Following these assemblies, there are classroom meetings where the students engage in character ed story listenings and engage in character ed activities. Then we have a buddy class activity the following Friday where older and younger students engage in team building activities and character ed conversations. There's another character ed professional meeting the last Friday of the month where students engage in self-reflections. This is something new that we're doing here this year. It is our hope that these self-reflections provide time for our students to deepen their understanding about our character and messages. An example of one of our surface learning projects occurred during the holiday season in the winter months. Liberty Corner School partnerships with the Appalachian Toy Drive in conjunction with Del Bark School in Morristown, New Jersey. The reading of silver packages helps us to focus on this project as it addresses living in Appalachia in the holiday season. We ask our community to think about those who are less fortunate by providing a wrapped gift label or toy or girl. Our 5th grade student council, our guidance counselor, and myself drive to Del Barton School and deliver our gifts. Del Barton students deliver these gifts to children who live in Appalachia, which is one of the poorest locations in the United States. We become the largest donor participating in this service learning project. And we use this opportunity each year to focus on compassion and generosity. An example of character ed outside of the classroom is our Golden Tray, which encourages students to demonstrate appropriate behaviors during lunch and recess, a little bit less structured than the classroom setting. As school aides observe classes using simple criteria that we review with the students each year to determine which class deserves the weekly recognition. These golden trays are displayed outside the winning classrooms each week. You can hear cheers on Friday. The theme of bucket fillers we introduced about 3 years ago. Bucket fillers are people who give selflessly. They help without being asked and demonstrate good character. These individuals fill other people's buckets. So everybody carries around an imaginary bucket. And we badge those buckets by doing good deeds, sharing, caring, and comments. They can also character. On the other hand, we have bucket dippers. Bucket dippers do not display good character and dip from other people's buckets, and in return are also dipping from their own bucket. Staff and students are observed using bucket filling terminology as they interact with each other and their peers throughout the day. Our bucket filler theme has been an invaluable addition to our program, as it expands our efforts to help children internalize and yet also visualize our character and message. Our program has been particularly effective when dealing with bullying situations because of the common language that we share, and also the common character and focus that our entire school engages in throughout the day. Our bucket filler and now also our change training themes have had a very positive impact. They provide a wonderful visual with common language and experiences, providing us with talking points when we have to speak with children about behavior. New initiative that we just started this year is our KFC committee. It is made up of 5th grade students who are sitting next to me, who were selected by their peers for demonstrating high qualities of character. KFC stands for Kids with Character. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to our KFC committee so they can share their role with us.
Dr. Pecoraro and Dr. Oliver decided to create a student character education committee to complement the existing faculty and character education committee. They felt we needed a greater student input as to how our character education program should look. They felt we needed they wanted a kid's perspective, so they gave us voice and choice regarding our program. We applied for the 8 positions and were selected by our grade level peers to represent them on this committee, are now known as the KFC, Kids for Character.
One of our first responsibilities was to create a kid-friendly mission statement. A copy of our statement is permanently posted in every classroom. Here's what we created. Character is what makes up a person. At LCS, we strive to always improve our character. We treat others the way we want to be treated and look out for each other. The pillars of character are very important to follow. That is why the students of Liberty Corner School try to obey them. The pillars of character are fairness, caring, respect, trustworthiness, responsibility, and citizenship, along with self-control and cooperation. Older students are looked up to and need to be good role models, which is why monthly assemblies are presented. Everybody can make a difference in this school. Whether it's standing up to bullies or coming up with new ideas, there is strength in numbers, so we encourage bystanders to speak up. Everybody in this school is equal, regardless of age, grade, or ability. At LCS, everybody is important, and we make the school what it is today.
To decide which 5th grade students would get to be a part of the KFC committee, students voted. 2 or 3 students with the most votes would get the option to be in the KFC or say no, which is also okay. Each student was given 2 sheets of paper to vote for 2 different students. There's a spot for the student's name and why they voted for them. To be voted to be in the KFC, you have to do the following. We had to apply to be a member of the KFC. We have to be students who make good choices. We demonstrate how we care for and about others. We are respected by our peers and teachers. We accept people for who they are, and we include others and go out of our way to make sure everybody is included.
We have many responsibilities as a KFC member, but mainly act as a liaison to our own classes as well as 3 to 5 other classes. Our responsibilities include revising and summarizing monthly character education assemblies with our sub classes, defining the pillars of character so kids can understand what they mean and how they should act and think according to the pillars of character, generating self-reflection sheets and selecting a few to read during morning announcements, reviewing funny class activities with our assigned classes, writing a kid-friendly mission statement, planning character education spirit days, and selecting character-themed books for our one book club to support the monthly celebration of the pillar
Buddy class activities are suggested each month to support our messages of character and to help our schoolmates better understand how a person of good character behaves and thinks. Some of our buddy class activities have included practicing how to be complimentary of each other through games, creating a respectful list of people at LCS who are respectful and what makes them respectful, crossing, which involves students getting to one side of the room and asked to relocate. Different rules for the crossing the classroom can make the task more difficult. Students work together to create a template to give to someone who volunteers or helps in their classrooms. Guard dog involves a partner activity where one partner is blindfolded and the other partner is to guide the person safely around the building. February's buddy activity involved buddies creating a heart map and recording all people, things, and places they care about, and how they can show these special people how they care for them. After each pillar of character is introduced at an all-school assembly, students in grades 3 to 5 are asked to respond to 2 or 3 questions pertaining to the monthly pillar. Typically, students are asked to give examples of how they demonstrated a certain pillar. For example, last month was caring, and the following are a few students' responses. My dad came back from work and he always told stories about something. But this time he came back home and said that he knows a nurse whose house burned down. He asked us if we could donate something to them, like a board game or something, and we helped. My dad said that the nurse was really happy when we gave her some of the stuff we didn't need anymore. When I heard this, it made me feel really proud. I hope I have the opportunity to do something like that again. I demonstrated caring by helping my sister with her homework late at night, and it made her feel relieved and happy. It made me feel really good. I want to be a teacher, and I felt like a teacher. This is how I demonstrated the pillar of care. We understand what our character education program is all about, but we felt it was necessary to share our character education goals with the community to better inform community members about LCS character. Our plan is to reach out to local businesses, much like the Junior Chamber of Commerce, to share our KFC and character education programs. We plan to invite them to an informal morning reception, share our initiatives, and provide a tour of our building. It is our hope that they will post our mission statement in their building, in their place of business, along with the Business of Character certificate. We feel sharing our character will enhance our relationship with community members and help them better understand what LCS students are all about.
We thank you for your kind attention and the opportunity to share our program.
Our Kids for Character Committee really is a group of outstanding students. We're lucky, Dr. and I are very lucky to work in this school with our children, because this is a school full of outstanding children, but this group right here deserves one more round of applause. I do sit in the committee meetings all the time, and sometimes I find it hard to stay quiet and be quiet, but everything that the children do, they do it together. The mission statement is written on their own. deciding on what direction the KFC committee is going to be taking the rest of the year, and they're also going to be planning what our future KFC members will be doing next year. I would like to turn it over to Mrs. Beadle now, and some of our students from our drama club. Thank you.
concert, and it kind of stole the show. Standing ovation, sang in front of hundreds of people, and were wonderful. And it was a perfect thing to add this year because we had a lot of new staff joining us, and it brought all of us really close together and had a lot of great laughs. And it's a small number tonight. There's a lot of people missing that couldn't be here, but we hope to have them come back and then many more join us, and it's becoming a really great tradition here. So this is the Liberty Corner faculty staff performing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Love to introduce them all because there are some new faces. We have Denise Raygard, who teaches 5th grade. We have Jen Sarah in the blue, who teaches 2nd grade. We have Chris Carey in the orange, 3rd grade. Eric Raschenberger, who's our guidance counselor. We have Dr. Sloan Castleman, our reading specialist. Debbie Len, 3rd grade, and Caitlin Sharp, 3rd grade. And this will be featuring our soloists, Miss Sharp, Miss Raygard, Mr. Raschenberger, and Mr. Carey.
Well, now you know why I'm so proud of being principal here at Liberty Corner, not only for the amazing children that we have here, wonderful families that support us, but this is an amazing faculty. Let's just hear it for them one more time. Thank you. So we'll turn it over to the board of ed. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Don't forget the tickets are free on Thursday night if you want to join us at the back. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are now up to public forum on agenda items. Public comment. We are up to committee reports. Under finance, there are items 1 through 2. Somebody make a motion?
I would say right for Q&A.
Somebody second. Are there any questions or comments?
Mrs. Swerve?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Gazelle?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mrs. Richards?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
Yes.
Mrs. Wood?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Personnel has items 1 through 9. Somebody make a motion? Second it. Questions or comments? We have roll call.
Mrs. Swerve?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Gazelle?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mrs. Richards?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
I'm going to say yes, but I do have a question.
Mrs. Woodridge?
Yes.
Yes.
Other than our next negotiation committee meeting, PTA, I think it's Tuesday, March 7th. somehow she figured out the 13 we didn't need to do. So how did she do that, and why did she do that, and have we grown like a baby out after her in the school? Anyway.
Nobody else with public comment? So we'll close public comment.
Well, this question was posed by someone to me recently. This school year, certainly, I can appreciate the question. The Common Core standards, the standards of Common Core versus curriculum. Common Core is not a curriculum; it's a set of standards. And I certainly agree that we need to always be evaluating how we are doing with the curriculum and how do the teachers feel about how things are going. So I certainly agree with Mrs. Coppola in this case that we want to talk to our teachers about how things are going. And I can say that I certainly didn't issue any gag orders to teachers about talking about curriculum with parents. And I wouldn't expect that any of the directors or supervisors on my team would have done that either. But I agree that we should constantly be looking at curriculum, how are things going, and how do the teachers feel about how things are going. And I've had this conversation with both of our supervisors as well as our director of curriculum. When I say both supervisors, I mean the supervisor for mathematics and the supervisor for language arts, where the Common Core is really the issue, I think, in terms of the standards and the changes that have taken place over the last few years. And I've told them both that I want them to do exactly what was described tonight. I want them to talk to their teachers. They're the ones that are holding department meetings and have the opportunity to get the feedback of the staff, and to feel like they have the latitude in my support if changes need to be made in a way that would benefit the student. So to the extent that Mrs. Coppola has asked us to do that, I've asked the administrators that I work with to have that latitude and to collect that input from the teachers. And certainly there's no reason that we couldn't try to share out on what they're finding out. And as far as the 7th grade math goes, and what the plan is as far as a PR campaign for trying to convince a population of students, a population of parents, that maybe 8th grade algebra isn't the right choice for you. I think that's a tall order. It's going to be a challenge to try to do something like that. But I agree that it's something that needs attention, and that those parents that are making decisions about what their child should be doing in 8th grade need to be given the best guidance possible. And there's no reason that we can't try to do that. So I'm on board with all those suggestions. Yeah.
I attended, I think it was the last voting on the PTO meeting, and Kristen Wolf gave a really good presentation about the middle school math. Well, it was a better attended PTO meeting than normal because it was back in Washington, D.C., where parents go than normal. But one of the interesting takeaways, I think that Ms. Wolf did a wonderful job explaining that algebra in 8th grade isn't for everyone, and that there's a math program available for the 8th graders. And my interpretation of the Robin was Karen was there, the crowd was, yeah, but we want to talk about adding more sections of algebra to 2nd grade. I know there's an advanced algebra section, but we want a regular algebra section in 2nd grade too. So the good news is our administrator was trying to convey the message. The bad news is that's not the message that particular crowd is interested in hearing.
I think I can add to that. And Linda was talking about to discuss a curriculum, how to get that message out to everyone. Because people don't think they're Friday or they're lengthy, but how do you reach that audience of making a decision? And so I think it's tricky because the people that were at that meeting were 8th grade parents. They're teacher. So they weren't the 6th and 7th grade parents that should be listening to the message.
If I can add, I'm a 7th grade parent, and I'm adopting the way to commitment, and I'm not the only 7th grade parent because when I found out that I didn't get it, it was a great last-minute addition to have President on that day. The meeting was on Wednesday, the addition was made on Monday, and I went out to my secretary or whatever reason, there was some religious
in the right cohorts, whether it's classroom emails, because our student data system, student management system does allow us to do an email for a class. So for example, if a teacher wants to send an email to the parents to say, hey, don't forget Friday we have our Unit 8 test, and that's pretty straightforward and easy to do. I know that this morning I was on the phone early with Karen because there was a problem with traffic, the buses weren't getting to school, the kids couldn't start their test on time, and she sent an email to 8th grade parents. So it might be the best approach if we know statistically that the reading rates for Friday folders are not always as high as we might like them. We could try targeting an email more specifically on a Wednesday directly from a math teacher saying, hi, this is Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, and I want to make sure you're thinking about this for your 7th grade student that's got to make an 8th grade math selection next year, to try to target it from the teacher to the to the parent. I think it might be more well received than from the administrator to the parent.
And in Kristen's presentation that she gave that day, there were at least 3 or 4 slides that addressed the issue of making decisions about what getting that a lot of people.
So I mean, it could be an attachment directly to the parents of 7th grade students. There's really important information here. Please review this. It's about this issue of what math your child should be taking next year. And I know that we're making recommendations directly to parents, right? I mean, like she said in her presentation, we made a recommendation. And a lot of people didn't like the recommendation. And so they chose to take algebra. And they're finding it very challenging. So sometimes you can lead a horse to water, and they're not necessarily going to say, okay, I agree with you. They're thinking, well, I want the algebra because I want algebra in 7th grade. I don't want more sections of 8th grade math. I want more sections of 7th grade algebra. So it's challenging to try to make that PR pitch.
Along the lines of what you just said, I definitely think that we need at least a link to a lot of the presentations, because I think parents are missing really great information, and honestly, the website that we are very behind sometimes. So if we could just link it to when what our presentations coming out, like that was a last minute thing. I have no idea that she's going to make that presentation. That would be. Why we would agree to it, so it's Right, up there. But they did it, they were saying they did it. So, that doesn't make any sense either. I know. Yeah. So, I know Nick has a lot of concerns about what you're doing in this district.
Sure. So you probably got this email from Larry Feinsod. It's called Feinsod Reflections. He's the executive director of the New Jersey School Boards Association. And if you listen to the governor's budget address, February, end of February, as usual, he talks about state budget and school budgets, and he had a lot to say about his concerns about pension, healthcare costs, and he kind of revealed, I think, for the first time for all of us that for the last 5 months, a group of people had been working behind the scenes to try to problem solve this issue, and they created what he refers to as a roadmap to resolution. This idea of how to try to address this problem that I think everyone acknowledges is extremely significant for the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, when you go to read about this roadmap, it's I guess in its development stages, and it makes us very nervous for the reasons that Robin has described, in the sense that we don't understand how the idea of having local school districts take on the burden of pension payments and/or retiree health care payments is going to be something that a local school budget can sustain. We're not sure how that's going to work. And so it just makes us very nervous, because it's an idea that seems like they really want to push through, because they're looking to try to do something by June 1st for a constitutional amendment in order to have an aspect of this happen. And I guess part of this plan is contingent on this constitutional amendment, and it just scares us all to death, because there's not enough meat and potatoes here to really understand how this would work. Rod and I have talked about it, Sean and I have talked about it, and we just haven't been able to find the information that would make us feel like the plan has enough details that we can see how it could possibly work. So we're all nervous, extremely nervous, because I don't understand, how are we going to pay for this, right? How are we going to find the funds to do this? Yeah. At any rate, we are actively asking those folks that might be able to get us more details to try to get us more details. I know that New Jersey School Boards is trying to get a better handle on it. New Jersey Association of School Administrators, NJASA, is trying to get more information. New Jersey Association of School Business Officials is trying to get more information, because we're worried that it's going to be a new burden on local school districts, local taxpayers. We just don't know. I don't want to scare people, but it's scary when you have no information about how this is going to possibly get funded. It's frightening.
I did actually, there's a link report on the New Jersey State Treasury website. I didn't read the whole thing, but I did read portions of it. And what they're saying, they're really finding is that somehow this is all in the budget control for the local schools. And I just can't believe that that could possibly be the case.
Right,
Because they're saying that what we would do is we would change the health benefits, and that would generate enough savings to pay for this new system. It wouldn't be a pension, but it would be retirement benefits.
Right. The idea. Right. Right. The idea is to freeze the pension benefit where it is, and then create a hybrid system where a retiree in the future would conceivably have some portion of their retirement benefit be associated with their existing defined benefit from the pension system plus some other 401k type of the system, which, you know, okay, but where's the money going to come from? How's that really going to work? And those are the questions that we don't have the answers to, and as long as they're out there, the concern is that, you know, something kind of gets sold as, oh, this is a great idea, and then it happens, and then it is off the state's responsibility, off the state's budget, and now it literally becomes the local district's problem to try to find the money to make it work, and that's the fear. I mean, I know that the fear in not having the details is the idea of shifting it, hey, it's out of our budget, now it's your problem. And that's scary.
Jeff, because I think this is the report you're referring to. And it's not just a plan that's frozen, it's also a responsibility of the districts they have for the entire health benefits that they mentioned. So
closing message.
There we go. He's very fun stuff. So he doesn't believe it's going to work. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And then he also said he's setting up a task force. I think he mentioned about that. Yeah. So, and he said the big thing, and everybody was saying, you know, talking about it, was the big thing is actually that not fully just for them to consider that we have so much retirement fund. I think we pay full medical and full pension that will be reduced to I think there's a reason. It's frozen at a certain time and then right after that. So that's where they do savings is coming from. And I don't see how that becomes budget neutral. I just saw that as savings. And then there's they really don't believe anything's going to happen in the next few months. I think they're still talking stage. So if you're going to start that, you see now, I'm not sure where we're going to start. It just could be a lot of white noise and it may not be constructive. So just really think about what it is you want to achieve by advocacy before you start.
I mean, at least I think it's just something that,
You should be aware that you're not seeing money and you don't have to tell. Well,
If not, then that would be to say, perhaps a lot more information, at least to the public. Because
Right.
all the public has is this 58
During
page study.
negotiations,
What question you have?
oh, they're negotiating.
What about just do you want to try to continue in a new way right now? I think certainly if the majority of the board felt so, like, the board for,
I don't mind saying, I mean, it's right to case that a letter from the board
right,
to put it that way.
to start.
And then our audience, you know, the three people who watched the playback of the video to let everyone know. I mean, hopefully this doesn't come to fruition,
But also the timeline is what my first question is what's the realistic time? I didn't think it was months of that long. After when I left, I felt like it was years. If they haven't negotiated that, gone to the table, this is just a roadmap to negotiate. But what they're negotiating could affect us severely. And I'm not sure what I would be asking for if we did something like this. That's kind of a problem. But we can definitely say we don't want that. I would like that one because we are over the 2% and how many people are
I'm happy about the checks that take that letter and
sent.
to just, you know, put it on people's radar. And we're not happy about the prospect of this happening.
and I do know that some of the Sweeney and Dave have spoken, but it's basically sound bites. You know, all the reporting in the media is like 1 or 2 sentences, so it doesn't really, you know, it give you a
They're still negotiating. And what they said a big deal was that teachers even came, teachers union to change their term, consider changing from that in itself is
in a year where we've been preoccupied with art and some of the mandates and budget cuts, I just want to say what a pleasure tonight's meeting was. To actually see our students and our teachers and what they're doing, what they're accomplishing, watching these kids from play, perform, learning about character
Dr. Oliver asked if he could run those classes for the staff, and we looked it over together, and I said absolutely. And all staff can take it district-wide, it's not just limited to Liberty Corner, but he asked in this first run-through if it could be open to Liberty Corner first, but it was open to all staff, although they did fill up. It is a model to be able to use another building, it's just a matter of kickstarting things in the buildings.
We can see that because one of our speakers tonight made some point. I do think that this is a really long program here, and there's so much to be shared, and there isn't anybody who can benefit from more.
Yeah, only because it's getting, the personnel had, I put that on the moment. All of this pension reform piece is shadowing this other proposed legislation trend that I want to make you aware of, is this proposed change to teacher certification requirements. It's actually a pretty big deal. I don't know if you've seen it, but perhaps we could even discuss that at the next meeting if you'd like. I'd be happy to discuss that with you. But that could have some major implications for recruiting, hiring staff in the future. And I think about that coupled with the possible changes to the pension and what that might do for our recruiting efforts, 5, 10 years out. We're trying to project out what that might do. But there are definitely some significant changes that would go into effect for next year, actually, based on those proposed changes to legislation. So again, if you haven't seen it, something I can certainly send out. Again, they're just proposed changes to this thing.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, more stringent requirements, and some of them are positive. I'm not saying they are positive, but raising GPA requirement, raising test scores, but also creating a new test actually that teacher candidates must take at college level to even become certified, making student teaching a full year, and then the other piece is actually changing the requirement for a substitute as well, which would really be interesting for districts, making it a BA instead of 60 college credits. That would have implications not just for us, but also for some of the companies actually that contract with subs, because those subs don't typically have BA. So there's a lot of interesting changes being proposed, and that came out about the same time that this roadmap was announced. So I don't know how much attention is being given to that, but I did want to make a mention of it this time.
I read something for Republicans in grad school. She had an education about that test, and it compared students that were getting certified in New York State versus another state, I forget which state, and clearly the teacher colleges did a better job in the other state teaching them what the test would be like and preparing them for it, and so they did better and prepared. So it's something that the teacher colleges have to get together. You know what I mean? Quickly.
Yeah.
Requirements.
Yeah.
Well, more stringent. Like I said, I'm not saying they're negative, but certainly down something that pension candidates would consider while they're teaching. They're not something, go back to pension and everything else.
It's an interesting question, but I'd be happy to send the details. And again, the proposed changes could go into effect as early as next year.
And do you think there's any that we should be really, like, that you disagree with, like the substitute one, and maybe we should be doing something about?
I think just as there's concern for how we would fund